Fuck, wrong way. Well, here we are again. After playing Thug Pro for this channel a few weeks ago, I got a really bad itch to play some more Tony Hawk. Either that or I really need to get rid of that rash I have. So I decided to play the first Tony Hawk game that I could think of. And that so happened to be Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. I'm aware that it's a little bit of an odd choice considering Underground is available, but here we are. I'm not going to go too much into detail about the experiences that I have had with the Tony Hawk franchise, as I did that in my Thug Pro video, which if you haven't seen it, I will leave a link for it in the description down below.
Oh, cheeky.
But anyways, let's see if American Wasteland is any good. Nose manual is not a trick I should be trying, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm a dumbass. Haha! Score one for this guy! One thing that I do want to mention before we fully start this video is that I had to use the GameCube version of this game on an emulator, so some of the issues that I may discuss in this video may be emulator issues rather than issues with the game itself, so please keep that in mind. Anywho, let's get into that American Wasteland. Why did I sound like a pirate for a second then? Shiver me fucking timbers. Okay, so American Wasteland actually has two different game modes, and thus I'm going to jump into the gameplay section first, and then we're going to dive into the story. I usually do it the other way around, but sometimes some games just be like that. Tony Hawk's American Wasteland follows a lineage of great games, and added some really cool new mechanics to the already great arsenal of tricks the series has boasted in previous iterations. The game's story mode now has one giant continuous open world, with some sneakily disguised loading zones in between. I'm on to you, video game. One of the new features is you can now ride a BMX. For some reason. It's a fun distraction from the skating, I've got to say, but it is otherwise rather pointless. Another new trick that has been added is the Burt Slide, a move which allows you to slide around all over the place like you're a snake. The game also enhances on-foot mechanics introduced in previous titles, with new parkour-inspired wall runs, wall flips, and the ability to jump back from walls. Overall, this game didn't add too much new stuff to the table, but it didn't really need to, considering it includes a lot of the previous game's best tricks and mechanics. Now moving on to the controls, I find myself in between a rock and a hard place. Tony Hawk games have always been fast paced, and thus American Wasteland needs to keep up with the pace. So does it? Fuck no! The game's speed makes everything feel too cluttered and close together to pull off good combos. It is possible, but I just didn't find it as fun as previous games. The walking mechanics are okay, but the sensitivity of movements off-board had me tearing my hair out as I climbed up the same objects again and again and again, just to have one little teeny tiny movement send my skater off into the bowels of hell. The game is still very fun, but it doesn't compare to Underground 1 and 2. Also, American Wasteland has an online component, which I can't talk about because I couldn't play it. Okay, so, no, come here, shh, come here. I hear you're after a story. Why do I do this to myself? No one can ever answer that question. So basically the story for this game is you play as this guy, who clearly is the punkiest punk in the history of punk who ever got punked. He's a dude who left home because he couldn't skate the mall and his dad hates him or something? I don't know, it's not really clear. Anyway, you arrive in Hollywood, ready to take on this skating paradise and shred it up, only to get robbed immediately. And then you meet Mindy. Total waifu! Wait, what? She played Susie in the Rugrats. Oh, for fuck's sake! Why can't I have anything? Mindy helps you get used to your new home and shows you all these cool drawings of a magazine that she's working on, entitled American Wasteland. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Do you get it? Do you get it? Because it's the title of the video. You meet her kind of friends, Useless Dave, Boone, Murphy, and Iggy. To be honest, these guys are kind of just one-trick pony joke characters, but Iggy is way more serious and kind of scary.
Got moves, huh, Slick? Well, you want to ride here.
Okay, please, I'm sorry, don't hurt me, please, don't hurt me. Here's my car keys, just take them, just go. These guys live on what they call the Skate Ranch, an empty, kind of pathetic looking death trap. You decide to fill this area up to become a sweet ass skate park for the ages. And thus you set out on a quest to obtain some sweet, shreddable objects and make this fantasy park a reality. The story's pretty simple really, but it doesn't really need to be anything different. Arcade style games like Tony Hawk always work very well with a very simplistic story, especially considering a lot of the time these games are meant to be silly and just fun to play. I also just want to quickly say, the game's theme is actually inspired by the movie Dogtown and the Z-Boys, which stars and talks about the experiences of skaters such as Tony Alva, Stacy Peralta, Steve Caballero, and the video game mascot himself, Tony Hawk. I'm dropping knowledge on y'all! What? Some of these guys are actually in the game, which is pretty cool. During the story mode, you can find challenges outside of the story missions to complete. These can range from, please graffiti this wall please sir, all the way up to I'll give you some dollars if you do a nose manual. During the game's story mode, you will be in an open world, which is kind of true, but these little pathways between areas act as a way for the game to load the next area. You can also customise your character in any of the shops that you can walk into. And in these shops you can get a haircut, you can buy some clothes, you can get skateboards, you can get some gear, there's all kinds of things you can do. You can do this with money which you can earn through dollar challenges that you can find on the map.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money,
Dollar, dollar.
The shops also have sponsor challenges that increase your character's stats. While we're talking about sponsors, this is a great time to talk about our sponsor for the day, Raid Shadow Legends. Ah, gotcha! I did that joke in the last video. Oh, god damn it. The story mode also has two different difficulties that don't really do much. The higher difficulty doesn't really do too much, it just kind of changes the scores that you need to get. But overall, story mode is a lot of fun, but let's move on to the game's second mode. This is so difficult! Oh my god. Whee! Classic mode has always been a big staple of Tony Hawk games. This mode has you complete challenges and levels separate from the story mode with a time limit. The challenges can range from how much you can score in a single session, to random goals such as collecting donuts for... Who the fuck is that? The goals in the levels get harder as you go along, and the levels featured in this mode are classics from the original game, and extra levels that were actually included in the PSP version of Tony Hawk's Underground 2, also known as Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix. Challenges you complete stay completed, so you'll be replaying these levels a lot, which gives you the time to learn how these challenges actually work so you can complete them. Now, unlike the story mode, every trick and ability in the game is actually at your disposal from the moment you start playing this mode. Also within these levels, you can find these nifty little tokens you can use to level up your stats, just like some of the older games did. But I gotta say, this stat system felt kind of pointless in this game. I didn't really notice a change to my character's stats overall. I wasn't going any faster, I wasn't jumping any higher. Also, a few moments ago, did I say nifty? Well, time to go and get the bleach out. Now overall, this mode doesn't actually take too long to finish, and but just between me and you, I managed to beat it under 2 hours. Just wanted to brag about that a little bit. But the mod adds some fun content when you complete the story. American Wasteland's classic mode felt incredibly easy to complete, even on the hardest difficulty, which basically just raises the amount of points that you need to score on each level. Another thing you can do in classic mode is you can play with a friend via co-op. Which I can't show you because I don't have any friends. Wait a minute. Who the hell let kids into my house? Quick, hide the bleach! This is so difficult. Oh my god. Oh, wailing away now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. The soundtrack for this game contains a lot of punk rock. Who would have thunk it? But it does also contain its usual hip-hop and rock kind of tracks. This one's probably actually one of my favourite soundtracks in the entirety of the Tony Hawk franchise. As with most of the other games, I only find myself listening to a couple of songs, whereas in American Wasteland I listened to like half of the soundtrack, and that's insane. Now, as this is YouTube that we're on right now and copyright strikes are a thing, I can't actually play any of the soundtrack. So, What can I play instead? I've got it! Ow! Now moving over to the creator stuff section. Creation systems are back in American Wasteland with some fun tools to work with. All the previous creator modes from past games are back, including Creator Park, Creator Character, Creator Graphic, which by the way, here is mine. Don't make fun of me, okay? It's fucking hard to do this. Creator Trick is back, and that allows you to, well, create your own special trick. Creator Park allows you to create your own skate park, and this is what I made for the video. Creator Character is pretty self-explanatory, and Creator Graphic lets you create a graphic. Right, look, okay. The titles explain what these mods are, alright? Now, I have to say, I didn't really find myself using a lot of these outside of capturing a bit of footage to show you these different mods. There's not really much else that I can say. They are fun additions to the game, and that's pretty much it. They can add some replayability to an already stacked game. Told I didn't trip over trying to get into frame. I want to see if I can do a Casper. It's not a good idea, but I'm going to try it anyway. I kind of did it. But now we come to that time again. That section. That one time of year. That one time of the week even. When I have to be negative. American Wasteland plays very similarly to the other Tony Hawk games of the past, but it does have issues. I feel like the game is just so fast-paced that fast actions can be really difficult to do. It also doesn't help that sometimes the controls don't seem to keep up very well and can sometimes do an incorrect input. Now, I will admit this is actually an issue that I have found with a lot of the Tony Hawk games, so I feel like this might just be an overall franchise issue. Either that or I just play way too quickly. But I had a lot of instances where I would do a correct button combo, such as a triple kickflip, only for the game to do a double kickflip instead. Or vice versa, with flips being the worst offender for this. Classic mode felt way too easy to complete, even on the hardest difficulty. The walking controls feel so sensitive and it becomes so frustrating to try and deal with them the longer that you play this game. Luckily the game contains minimal climbing sections for the story mode, so at least that's a positive. Sometimes some of the story mode goals didn't really make any sense or weren't explained properly, thus leading to a lot of confusion about what I really should be doing. And I have to say the story mode had some padding in quite a few places, which wasn't very fun. Now, as I previously mentioned, some of these issues may just be an emulator issue, so please keep that in mind. Fuck my life. This fucking thing is a death trap. But all in all, American Wasteland is a fun package. Story mode can be fun but often falls into frustrating territory, and it has some padding in a few places. Classic mode is way too easy to complete but feels nostalgic and arcadey. This game has a lot of fun creation tools at your disposal which can add some replayability and creativity. The game has a lot of fun tricks and mechanics to keep you entertained over a long period of time. However, the game also gets really frustrating to play after a while, which can drain the fun pretty fast. That's why Tony Hawk's American Wasteland has earned the title of Fun Times. Thank you for watching. I just want to quickly mention that this video is just my opinion. If you disagree with anything I said, that's perfectly fine. Also, feel free to let me know what you thought about the American Wasteland in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Pip pip toodaloo!